Hello and welcome. My name is Tanisha and I'm your online belly dance and yoga teacher. And today I have a spicy topic, and it is only for the people that are ready to hear it. But it is time to stop burnout bonding with these bitches. That is the title of today's chat and contemplation series, which I want to invite you into a meditation at the end of this. But first, let's talk about burnout bonding, why I absolutely hate it, what it is, how to identify it, how to stop it in its tracks so that you do not become depleted from people who consciously or unconsciously are trying to bond with you through their trauma or their burnout. Do you want to have friends in your life that you only talk to when you're stressed and burnt out? Do you want relationships and clients and students like this in your life? Because I know so many of us in this community also teach whatever y'all teach. Do your art however you do your art. Do you want burnt out energy to be embedded into that? Nah. So it is important that you stop STOP burnout bonding with these bitches. Let me explain. Burnout bonding, trauma bonding. Burnout bonding is a term that I kind of made up, but I may have heard or have configured in my own way to communicate today. Trauma bonding is a real thing. It's a real psychological term. That one's a bit more specific. Burnout bonding is a little more casual, if you will, but it comes from that parent. Burnout bonding comes from a trauma bonding parent. It's just like a subcategory of trauma bonding. Trauma bonding being creating relationships or trying to maintain relationships built from trauma or abuse or harm. Those are usually the main things that I would consider trauma bonding. Trying to form a relationship from a co-mutual experience of trauma, harm, or abuse with another person, another entity, another organization, another friend, another partner. It doesn't really matter what your relationship is. If it's formed from a place of trauma bonding, it's kind of infused into the relationship. Once you break off the trauma bonding behavior pattern, those relationships dissolve. Same thing with burnout bonding. But this is sneaky. This is some Black Mirror shit on a quantum leap level. You really want a quantum leap? Let's start pointing out the truth for what it is. The truth is ease. The truth is peace. The truth is unconditional love. When we see distortions of this, we can see burnout bonding. So I just want to prompt, before I even dive into how to identify burnout bonding, if you start seeing these patterns in people you love, know that is a part of it. Know that I'm absolutely here for you. Know that you can mention that in the comments below so that the community here in the Peach Party can love on you. Because whenever I started noticing burnout bonding in my relationships, some of them were things that went back way to my childhood that may bring up things for deeper review. So let me prompt that. That's why I said in the beginning of this video, this is for the people that it needs to be for. And if you're not ready for this, come back to it when you are. It will be here with open arms to embrace you. If you're ready for it now, you want to walk through the door that I walked through to quantum leap and make my life full of ease and pleasure and relationships that feel really good in our exchange of energy between each other. And that's why we continue to have them all the time. Magnetic, beautiful relationships. These are the things that will naturally like rush into your life when you stop burnout bonding with these bitches, please. So burnout bonding prompt, if you start to see these patterns come up in your intimate life, know that you are strong enough to look that truth in the eye and identify it, and you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to attach to it. You don't have to have judgment. You don't have to try to fix it. Simply observe. That is your power. Keep it kicking. That's my advice before I even get started. Burnout bonding feels exhausting. It feels draining. A lot of what I would call burnout bonding, some other people in the spiritual community would call like having a toxic friendship or an energy vampire type of situation. Those things are similar. You can definitely experience an energetic vampire that is not burnout bonding. So some of these things overlap. These areas of study are similar. These areas of shadow work are in the same category. To bring that to your attention and awareness, if you've already been doing work on recognizing patterns of toxic friendship or toxic relationship characteristics and or energy vampire characteristics, these are all related. They're almost like the same cousins of demons, you know, they lurk in the same parts of hell. So smite them when you see them with your beautiful love light. Same type of nasty. Burnout bonding is a little more specific in the exhaustion and the element of fire and air overload. With the perspective of Ayurveda and yoga, these two sister sciences that I love to bring to your attention all the time, I would consider from my own education that burnout is specifically a fire and air type of element. Sometimes other energetic drainages are different element related. Like sometimes an energy vampire can feel very watery. Not this conversation. We are talking about an imbalance of fire, air, or both fire and air. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this has a very heat element to it. Whenever you experience it, I want you to notice if you feel more heat in your body, or if you do feel heat in your body, where is it coming from? And the exhaustion element is almost like continuously trying to engage with fire all the time and none of the other elements. So from an Ayurvedic standpoint, this is an imbalance, usually an overstimulation of fire, air, or both fire and air together. So looking at this from an elemental perspective, how do we see this in our Black Mirror 2020 modern human lives? Because we did choose to incarnate at this time. So how do we see this in our modern lives right now? I have observed this as the following scenario. Quickie. Oh, how is work? Oh, work is work. You know. Yeah, I know. Work is work. Pause. I'm trying not to freaking spike the mic too much, but no, stopping right there. What's the problem with that? What's the problem with finding communion of being overworked or burnt out? It's little things like this that really cause an energetic imbalance that then becomes a bigger problem, that then leads to inflammation, a fiery imbalance, gut problems, what is it called? Heartburn, acid reflux is what I was trying to say. All of these fire air imbalances will start to appear in the body because there was an energetic start to them that was accepted in the auric field. It then goes into the physical field. And then it's not really until the burnout, problem has become so bad that we can't produce for ourselves. We can't nurture ourselves. We then can't even be, quote, productive, because that's the root of the imbalance. So it starts to counteract. You can't even produce that much when you're burnt out. That's the irony in it. And that's when we start to be like, oh, whoa, I feel burnt out. I need to rest. That's true. That's true, baby. You do need to rest. You need to take it easier on yourself, on others, on life, on the situations, on everything you observe. I would agree. Take a damn nap. But also, as your friend who loves you and who will always choose to be radically truthful, my tantric devotion won't let me to say otherwise. It's deeper than taking a nap. It's way more than you needing a pattern of rest. It's a lifestyle change, and it is firm boundaries that you set energetically before things become physical, before they manifest down into the world. If you're already seeing manifestations in your world of the patterns of burnout, you need to go backwards to the root, which is this sometimes burnout bonding or burnout accepting from others. It almost never comes from ourselves. Ourselves are usually asking for the rest, for the peace, for slowness, less time on our phones, more grounding, more sun, more earth, more water. And it is our ego that chooses to override it. So it is your choice from the beginning to accept burnout that isn't yours, or make yourself accepted to that energy. That is going to fix and solve and soothe. If I actually made a solve for your inflamed skin, this is what I would give you. But it's an energetic solve. I'm giving you an energetic solve right now for burnout. Your burned skin, burnout, solve. The solve is the continued decision to not take on what is not yours. And then you'll notice all of the burnout that is mine, I can solve with rest, with play, with acceptance, with compassion to myself. And it starts to melt away, at least easier. The longer you do it, the easier it is to stop burnout in its tracks. Make sure that you don't get to that point. But I went way back in the logs of all of the relationships that I created or sustained through burnout, and that was the root cause. It doesn't go farther back than your decision and energetic opening to the burnout in the first place. So if you are called to this video, it is really time to quantify and upgrade all types of energetic protection. And I have some tidbits for you, some tips for you to upgrade your protection game, your spiritual hygiene, your spiritual immunity towards fickle, sickly, burnt out energies. So tips on spiritual immunity, spiritual hygiene, spiritual protection. I only have one tip now that I think about it. The one tip, and this is going to help you with everything, include all the elements. I mentioned in the beginning that this is an Ayurvedic overstimulation of the fire element. Your key to this is bringing back in all of the elements to soothe your body. Let's talk about air for a minute. If you're experiencing a lot of your burnout in your mind, That's a little bit different than experiencing the burnout in your body. If you're experiencing a lot of burnout in your body, it will literally feel like exhaustion. Like you won't have enough energy, or you'll always be tired, or actual inflammation, fire related physical imbalances. But if you're imbalanced in the mind, it could be hyperactivity in the thoughts, pacing thoughts, worrying all the time, never feeling still, never feeling in the present, always in the future or the past. Those are the air imbalance. So take notes of how this feels, because some people may have all air imbalance, all fire, or it may be a combination of both. A combination of both is feeling physically burnt out and mentally overstimulated, but also never at rest, never at peace. So take note of how those elements of burnout you see in your own life or in your observation of others, because these are key. These are the key to bringing in the other elements that you need to soothe this fire air imbalance that we see with burnout bonding. Because also when it goes back to bonding is a heart chakra experience. It is human to bond, and usually this area of the body, the lungs, the heart, is related to the air element. So to make you aware, this is related to the heart, absolutely, and the mind. So to bring in a balance, let's bring in these other elements. What is completely missing from this equation that we've talked about so far? Water, earth. Spirit is the only one left that's the fifth one. So let's talk about earth and water, because these are really great solves. If I were giving you an energetic solve for your skin, for the burnout bonding, it would be the thickest, creamiest, earthiest, heaviest solve that I could possibly conjure up for you. I'd probably make it with some Vaseline. Vaseline is so good to the skin. And put some calming, cooling oils in it, like a coconut oil, and something fresh and scented that is soothing, like lavender, bringing in that earth element with a little bit of water. Maybe I tell you to take a bath. These are things Ayurvedically that I would actually prescribe to you. If you're feeling burnout bonding in your life, take a bath, lotion yourself up, connect back to water and earth like you never have before, because there is nothing more satisfying to the overworked divine masculine than pouring into the divine feminine. And both water and earth are feminine elements according to Ayurveda, and fire and air are both masculine elements according to Ayurveda. So you can also think of this through the tantric lens of, where has my wounded divine masculine overworked because I didn't feel worthy, because I didn't feel good enough, because solar plexus related things, because I wasn't confident, or because my ego was too much. All of those related wounded masculine things have to be solved with healed divine feminine work. So not only taking a bath, taking a spiritual bath, taking a bath that absolutely nurtures your mind, body, and soul, candles, music, your favorite scents, your favorite essential oils that are going to rejuvenate you and your body specifically. I also recommend grounding practices, which I will be publishing more in the Patreon. There's already one, because you know I love to be grounded and I love to share grounded energy. Water and play. Play to fix this burnout bonding, okay? So lean into play, lean into earth, lean into water. I'm going to wrap this up with a meditation invitation. We are not going to practice it today, but I want to end this with an invitation for you to do this when you see burnout bonding, because I know this won't be for everyone. It will be for the people who are ready to hear it. The cloud meditation is a really common meditation that we see in yoga, and it's very simple. You've probably done it ever since you were a child, but it is to simply stare at the clouds and how they move. But I actually invite you to do this with your eyes closed, in your bath, in your dark space, at your altar, with your candles, or, in a hammock by the beach, wherever you can find 5 minutes. Can you give me 5 minutes? 5 minutes of peace to prioritize doing this meditation, because I know that this will help you in observing burnout bonding without attachment and judgment and letting it float away, okay? So, with a deep breath in, you'll connect to earth. In your next inhale, you will intend to connect to the sky. And one more inhale. You will intend to observe patterns that come up in your life without attachment or judgment. Okay? So practicing this with your eyes closed in your meditative space, at your altar, in your bath, by the beach, with your cats. Take 5 minutes to either close your eyes or stare off in the distance, depends on where you are and how safe you're feeling. Soften your gaze if you have your eyes open, and stare out into the world as if everything that you're observing is like a cloud. Every person that passes by on the beach, every dog that you see walking on the sidewalk is a cloud, an expression of the sky, and you're going to observe it without judgment or attachment and let those things pass. With the intention of observing safely, with confidence, patterns in your own life of burnout bonding, we accept and consent to observing those things without attachment or judgment. In your next deep breath, we're going to sit with the power of being able to observe demons that need to be sent back to hell. Let's sit with the power of being able to look lies in their face and call them by their name. Let's sit with the power that we are naturally easeful, abundant, pleasure-filled beings that don't like to experience burnout. Let's sit with the power that we can prioritize more pleasure. Let's sit with the power of our own choices and decisions and attachments. Let's sit with the power for us to self-reflect and let us end with sitting in the power of our autonomy. You are powerful, you are lovely, you are beautiful, you are an amazing big being. You are a big, big being playing a tiny human on a tiny rock And it's so cute how you do it. You're just so good at being a human and being lovely and being awesome. And you deserve for your human experience to be easeful and pleasureful and amazing. I love you so much. Let me know in the comments what comes up. Let us love on you. Let us realize that whenever we share in this space, how similar we all are, how similar these patterns all are, and how powerful it is when we lean on each other. Let me love on you in the comments, please. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to film other things. Goodies. Goodies for the crew. Goodies for the gals, gays, thems, and theys. I love you so much. Mwah.